How better go there, how better go there, how better go where, how better go here, better go here, how better now, better go.
Houses for sale for back taxes are easy to find. Welcome back. Making money is relatively easy when you know how. In today's episode, we're going to investigate houses for sale for back taxes. I'm Ted Thomas. I've been involved in the tax defaulted business for over 30 years, and I'll try and pass on some of that information to you. Tax defaulted properties for sale are available in over 3,000 counties and another 1,400 municipalities across the United States. Now, all 3,000 counties will sell tax defaulted properties. There is a separation of 1,500 of those counties will actually sell tax lien certificates. I'm not going to cover those today. What we're going to cover is houses for sale for back taxes, and are they easy to find? And they sure are. So real estate with starting bids of 10 and 20 cents on the dollar is available, and it's available in all 3,000 plus counties. Now, later on in this episode, I'm going to give you some exact examples, and you'll really appreciate what's happening here. Now, throughout the videos, I include these interesting examples, and you'll see that the average person can buy properties for 10 cents and 20 cents on the dollar with no mortgage and no deed of trust on the property. Now, everyone will give you advice about the tax lien certificate and tax deed property business. The auctions, they'll tell you about the sales, they'll tell you about deeds, they'll tell you about liens. Unfortunately, most of those people are either young or they're old, but they don't have any experience. What's important is realizing that the people that are giving you advice are not qualified. Why aren't they qualified? Because they haven't gone to tax defaulted auctions and had someone teach them. So you want to be very careful of the advice you're taking. It's important to understand that they can't help you. Not that they don't want to help you, it's just that they don't have the expertise to give you good instructions. So you want to either get a coach or you want to learn how to do this the right way from someone that already knows how to do it. Now, in this business, there's plenty of opportunities. You don't need a license. You don't need to get any special deal from the state governor. You're going to be able to do this business. I do recommend that you get a coach. Why? Because that will accelerate your learning, which means you're going to accelerate your money making. I suggest you think about what I just said. Now, most people don't know how to make money with tax defaulted properties, okay? Now, there's lots of promises on late night television, lots of promises on the internet. This is a business that a lot of people don't know about, so it's going to take you a little while to learn it. Now, I'm an educator, I'm an investor, and I'm an author, okay? Now, the video episodes that I'm giving you are all from an investor standpoint. So I'm not going to try to just give you a lot of stuff that's ivory tower. I'm going to show you exactly how we do all this. So my intention is to show you there's great possibilities with a small amount of money. If you'll follow along and embrace the ideas that I give you, you're going to find most of this learning is going to be pretty transformational. Okay, so what do you want to know about these property tax defaulted property? Well, first we want to know, are there going to be enough of these for sale? And are they going to be available at the prices that you want to buy them? My answer to both of those questions is yes. So I'm going to start out with California. Why California? Because there's a perception that the prices are going to be too high in California and you won't be able to buy them. Well, that perception is coming from people that have very little experience. So I found out, my experience has taught me, go ahead and find out for yourself. And that's what I'm going to suggest you to do, because your perception is going to be different as soon as you finish watching this video. All right, for example, in California, in San Bernardino County, which is just north of Los Angeles, my student attended the auction.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get her going here. Start me off. Where to bid to go? Have it $1,000, open it up.
And he purchased a residential lot that had the tax assessed value of $150,000, and the purchase price was $9,000. That was 6 cents on the dollar with no mortgage and no deed of trust. Now, how many properties like that would you like to do? If you could buy for 10 cents or 20 cents on the dollar, could you certainly sell it for 50 or 60 cents on the dollar and make yourself some money? Well, of course you could. Now, I've had many occasions where my students have done exactly what we're talking about here, and I'll show you other examples in other states which people consider is going to cost too much money. I'll show you New York State to give you an example, where again the prices are real high. People think they can't do it. I'll show you some of that as we go along. All right, now many of these houses are for sale at starting bids, which is basically the back taxes. Now, I've attended auctions where there's over 2,000 properties. I've attended auctions in Los Angeles County, as a matter of fact, where there was over 2,000 properties, and there was literally hundreds of properties being sold for the back taxes. So what's the name of this title? Houses for sale for back taxes. Are they easy to find? They definitely are, because I've gone to Los Angeles myself, attended the auction where there's over 2,000 properties for sale, and there's literally hundreds of properties being sold for very close to the back taxes with no mortgage and no deed of trust. All right, now, anytime you attend an auction, it's a risky proposition. Why? Why is risk taking place? Because people don't look at the property, okay? Now, buying real estate has consequences, good consequences and bad. It's going to be good if you go and look at the property. You don't want to buy properties that you haven't looked at and you haven't figured out what your selling price is going to be. Now, what attracts investors to this market? Now, I come from a practical world, and I want you to do the same thing. If you're buying real estate from the county or municipality, and you can buy it for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar, and you've evaluated that that property could be resold, and it's not going to have mortgage or deed of trust, I think that's going to be a pretty good deal, because you're going to have a large margin. You're buying down here at 10 or 20 cents, and you've got a large margin between that and a selling price. So you want to be able to buy it low and sell it low and do that relatively quickly. Now, did I say there was no risk? There's always risk when you buy real estate. So know what you're going to sell it for and have looked at the property before you purchase the property. Now, here's a good example of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property that I purchased, keeping in mind that the title that we're working under today is Houses for Sale for Back Taxes. Are they easy to find? I'm going to give you an example now in New York State where people say, oh, the houses are going to be too expensive, we won't be able to do anything. I bought a tax defaulted property, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath colonial style home. I figured out my exit strategy would be up in the $400,000 range. I paid $140,000 for this property. So let me walk you through the process and you see how you could make money. All right. I purchased a property from the tax collector. I did it online for a whopping $140,000. Well, before I ever bought the property, I knew the selling price would be somewhere around $350,000 or $400,000. So I had margin. Well, the market dropped after I bought it, and I had a lot of work to do. So I bought it for $140,000. I sold it for $280,000. That took me a little while to get all that done because I had to fix it up. All right, I said there was risk. There was risk because I had to do fix up I didn't intend to do. I bought $140,000. I sold it $280,000. The point is, there were plenty of properties to buy, and they were easy to find. There was over 50 properties at this auction that were easy to buy. There was another 150 properties that were available. Now, what happened? The county issued me a quitclaim deed. All right, that simply meant that the condition of the property was my problem. Title to the property had no warranty. So that meant everything was my problem. That's what happens when you go to the auction. Everything is going to be your problem. But I bought it $140,000 and I sold it $280,000. I made a profit. Was that good? Yes, that was good. This is happening across America. I've showed you both ends of the spectrum now in the most expensive states. I employed an attorney to help me get a quiet title on that property because the county did not give me a title that was good. Now, that took me many months to clear that title. In other words, it took me almost a year to make sure I got a clear title. I didn't say that there was risk-free. I had to pay the taxes. I had to pay to take care of the property security-wise. I had to take care of making sure the snow was cleaned up. I had to make sure the lawns were cut. And I had to wait to sell it because I had to wait for a quiet title. The point is, there's many houses for sale for back taxes, but you will not be getting pristine property. What do I mean by that? The county's not going to vouch for the condition of the property, and the county's going to say there's no warranty on the deed. Ask yourself, if you could buy slightly used and abused properties for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar, and you could put a sign on the front lawn. Go ahead and do the selling using your computer. Use eBay, Craigslist, multiple listing, Facebook Marketplace, Trulia, Zillow. You're getting the idea. How many of these would you want to do? You'd want to do plenty. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state in the next 90 days. This calendar updates every single day. I'm here today to show you how to make money. To do that, I'm going to show you briefly that there are thousands of tax defaulted real estate properties across the 3,000 plus counties in the United States. This is quite interesting. You're looking at the Ted Thomas Magic Interactive Map and Auction Calendar. It changes every day. Now, I created the calendar and the map so I would know how many auctions are taking place every day in the United States. Now I can show the little guy how to make money. Most importantly, I created this system so I could have an auction list for each auction 24/7. Small population counties will have dozens of these properties to sell. Large population counties will have hundreds, sometimes thousands of these properties to sell. If you'd like to have an auction list, you can go right below me. My final words are, don't make these two mistakes. Mistake number one, don't buy a property without looking at it, having boots on the ground. If you can't put your boots on the ground, someone you trust. There could have been a fire. There could have been a hurricane. There could have been a flood. There could have been something located near the property that you didn't like a pig farm or a chicken farm. You want to make sure you've looked at the property, and when you're there, make sure you understand the neighborhood so that you know the selling price. Two biggest mistakes, people don't look at the property and they don't figure out their selling price, so they pay too much for property. I'm Ted Thomas. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget, request your free auction list right below me.